Okay, so this is my presentation, my poetry and painting, and I did my animal is the tan rabbit. Okay, so for the structure to gather, organize, and communicate information, the example literally hit the nail on the head for everything. So like I couldn't think of anything to like edit or take out because I could think of a lesson or like a way for the students to use all of these things with a bunny rabbit. So like a trade book, I could read them a book about rabbits, textbooks, they could read a science book about rabbits, internet articles, pictures, like all of those things, even social studies, they could talk about how in history they used to use rabbit fur to keep them warm. Science, they could talk about the body parts, health, the health of a rabbit compared to health of a human. Like I couldn't think of anything to take out. Math, how many carrots does a rabbit eat? So like I couldn't really figure out anything to take out of the thing. So like all of it, I just left all of it from the example. So yeah. So here are my poems, and I put a cute little tan rabbit right there. So let me move this. So my acrostic poem, I use the word rabbit. So R is for really friendly and makes a great pet for families because they are really friendly and they're usually pets. You don't usually see tan rabbits in the wild. Like they're usually bred for things like that. A, they have an arched body shape, which means they stand alert on their toes. Some rabbits like lean forward and like move more on all fours, but they like alert and have an arched body type. The B stands for baby rabbits are called kits or kittens. Females are called the doe and males are called bucks. Binkies are the tricks that rabbits do when they jump up and do like Olympic style twirls in the air. They call it a binky. I is for if they eat too many carrots, it will upset their stomach because it's not in their natural diet. Like rabbits don't naturally eat carrots. They can eat them, but it'll hurt their stomach if they eat too many. T is for there are over 300 domestic rabbit species in the world. So yes. Sorry about that. Okay, so the Cinquain poem that I did. So we have rabbit is my one word now, and then my two adjectives describing that are furry and energetic because rabbits are furry and they have so much energy. That's why they can run really, really fast. And they jump and hop and twirl and do their pinkies. Then I have hopping, eating, and running for their ing words because that's what they do. With the 4-word phrase that I use to describe it, bunnies are very loving. They're super caring and super loving, and they're great pets. Oh, wait, and then the bottom line was bunny, came out too soon. Okay, so my haiku. My rabbit hops fast. He has soft black and brown fur. He loves to eat fruit. I'm kidding. Okay, wait, let me make sure that I have 575. My rabbit hops fast. He has soft black and brown fur. He loves to eat fruit. So that makes it a haiku because it has a 575 syllable. And then my definition poem. So the definition of a rabbit, small mammal, prey for big birds, fast hopping and running animals. Fur is an ombre brown to black, friendly and curious creatures, animals with ever-growing teeth. And I thought that was really cool because their teeth don't fall out. So like they don't have baby teeth, adult teeth stages like most mammals do. They have teeth that just continually grow. And like when they eat a lot, it just chips away at their teeth. So they just continually come down and come down. And one thing, like if a tan rabbit is like malnourished or like not treated very well, his teeth will be overgrown and it'll cause him health problems. So I thought that was cool. Communicate through thumping because that's what they do. They thump their little feet to warn you or like communicate with other rabbits. They're creatures with short gestational periods, so they only have like the mothers, the does are only pregnant for 28 days and then they can have another. They're burrowing, gregarious plant-eating mammals. So plant-eating, they're herbivores. Okay, so my diamante. So I have rabbit, and then tortoise, and then herbivore. I don't know why they're going out of order. And speedy are my two adjectives. Hopping, burrowing, and frolicking are my ing words. Fields, vegetables are my two nouns for that. And then I have tortoise, slow, and tranquil for the describing words. Strolling, resting, sleeping, because that's what tortoises do. And then deserts and forests, because that's where they live. And then my works of art. So my melted crayon, this one was really fun to do because it was like, I wasn't ready for how fast the crayons melted on the griddle. So yeah, it was really fun to like maneuver everything. And sometimes it would like drag itself across and I couldn't really, yeah. And then this one was really fun too, because like I've never done this type of art before. Like I've done melted crayons before, but not in the same way. But this one was really different because I paint a lot all the time, but I've never tried this one. And it was really weird or like cool to see how much like paint you needed to put and how much water you needed to put to get a certain stroke or like what type of brush you needed to use. So that was pretty cool. My oil pastels. So the oil pastels were really hard to work with because they were fat. Like they didn't have the pointy tip like the crayons. So they were like bigger. So it was hard to draw things, but I drew my bunny rabbit frolicking in the park. It was really difficult. And then my dot paintings, this was really hard too because I used the backs of my paintbrushes because I didn't have Q-tips that were small enough and I wanted like a smaller dot. So I just used the back of my paintbrush and like dotted. It was very difficult and it took a long time, but it came out really nice. And I drew him like hopping and prancing across. American bleach painting. I did ruin my pants doing this, even though the video told us to be careful. I actually did ruin my pants, but this again was really cool to see how like how many strokes you needed to use to like actually change the color of the paper to what you wanted it. And if you put too much bleach, it just like went really yellow. So that was great to do. And then my French painted paper collage. Okay, so I used a bunch of different things because in the video she used like a bunch of different materials. So I used like tissue paper, I used foil, I tried to use bubble wrap, but it didn't really come out the way she did it. It came out kind of like a blob. I used like a tongue depressor. I used my fingers for the eyes. I just thought it was really cool to do that. And yeah, that was really fun to do too. I use a sponge for the ears. And then my information desk, I have all 4 of the things. So for the environment, they usually live in grassy warm areas or indoor homes or pet shops. They eat pellets and grass hay if they're living in a pet shop or homes. And then some people change their diet when they like actually bring them home and like figure out what their specific animal likes. So they do fruits, vegetables, and herbs. The physical attributes, they can grow from 4 to 6 pounds. Like that's the biggest they'll get. And of course, the baby ones are super small. They have brown to black ombre fur. They hop, twirl, run, scurry, and they're very quick. And then on the other side, other interesting information, they make great pets. They can also have like stripes and streaks of blue or purple fur. They're breeded specifically as expensive pets. So like people pay a lot of money to have tan rabbits breeded just for them to have it as a pet. Life processes, their lifespan is from 8 to 10 years. So they have a lifespan of 8 to 10 years. And they live happier in groups. So they like when they're together with other rabbits. My aesthetic word information disc, pretty much similar to that one. I just took the aesthetic words from it. So habitat, I put warm, fields, homes, cages, and pet shops. For body, I put small, ombre, quick. For family, I put pets, multicolored, breeded, expensive, and bougie because they are the bougie rabbit because people pay a lot of money for them. movement, they hop, skip, twirl, run, flip, and jump. And that was my aesthetic word information disc. Modifications for students. I took the examples and just kind of like changed them up a little bit, but like students would be allowed to do less art creations and less of the graphic organizers. Like if they needed that modification, they wouldn't have the same requirements of the amount of artwork that they needed to do or the amount of graphic organizers like the disc or the setups like that. They wouldn't have to do as many as everybody else. They could just get like a certain amount that is comfortable for them, or not like too easy, but like comfortable for them. And then students will be given more time if needed to complete the assignments. So sometimes like a day or two is not enough for certain students because they work a little slower. So they will be given more time if they need it. There will be multiple means of instruction as well as multiple means of assessment. So I will have multiple ways to teach the information and multiple ways for them to show me the information as well. So I wouldn't just give them one clear cut, I'm going to tell it to you like this and you're going to show it to me like this. So because not everyone learns the same. So I would give them that opportunity. There will be multiple, oh, I read that one already, sorry. The required skill level will be adjusted to the ability of the individual student. If I know for a fact that a student can do better, then I'm going to have a higher standard for their artwork. I'm going to want them to put forth the effort that they put into everything else that they've done. Like if they're having a bad time or a bad day, then I'll just want them to come to me. Like I don't want them to just turn in whatever. But if I know that a student is artistically challenged, then I'm not going to hold them to the same standard as someone who loves art and who's always drawing and making these wonderful creations. Like I'm going to know that they tried their best and leave it at that. Like I won't hold them to the same standards creatively or artistically. There will be multiple means of involvement. So like they will have multiple opportunities to do things. It won't just be like, you sit here and watch me do this or things like that. Individual assistance will be provided for those in need, as well as individualized expected outcomes. Like I said, some students learn differently, so I won't expect the same outcomes from one student that I would another. I will do it on a need basis, like on a need to need basis. Importance. So this project will be important for students because it builds their research skills. They get to pick an animal that they like, enjoy, or that they want to know more about, and they get to look it up and learn more things about it. So they have more information, then they can build their research skills. They can use the internet, they can use books, they can use anything that they can find these animals on. And you can integrate art with other subject areas. So like ELA, they can read about it, write about their animal. Science, animals or science, and history. Again, they can see down the line when these animals came about, where they came from, how did people in the past use them, all those things. It allows children to choose their own animal, which creates an environment of empowered learners. You don't assign them an animal, they pick their own, which means, okay, I can take control of my education. So I'm gonna choose this animal because I like it, not because someone else gave it to me. And then the content covers a wide array of learning skills. They're learning research, they're learning social study skills, they're learning self-reliance skills, they're learning art skills, and that all of these things can be fun. And then they can take this information that they have and take it to their other classes as well. And then these are my resources, and that is all.